It's always been something that's been pulling at me, you know. Growing up, grandmother always had the records playing in the background, you know, singing on church choirs growing up as a kid and things like that. You know, I've always had that inkling to have music in my heart. When I was at the age of 9, that's when I realized I just had a huge passion for hip hop. Recited my first rhyme. They didn't make any sense, you know, too much, but you know, I started working on rhyming patterns and things like that. Started, you know, mimicking the words to songs that was out on the radio at quality levels that a lot of people that were, you know, teenagers couldn't even do. Mimicking the words to like Snoop and, you know, Crisscross. That's when the kids were big, you know, and popular at that time, you know. So that's when I really said that, look, music is something I want to do in life. You know, when they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said I wanted to be a producer. You know, at the age of 9, I was saying that. So. The quote-unquote reality behind it probably came when I was 6th grade. You know, I used to try to cut my own demos with tape recorders and things like that, beating on pots and pans, had no clue. But just working on, you know, learning how to like craft songs and things like that. I used to write and working on song format. Didn't really know how to count bars and things too much, but that was practice. It was exercise for me or whatnot. You know, and then I would also experiment. You know, we would beat. Me and the homeboys would beat on the cafeteria table and whatnot, and see what kind of response we get. We had people around us chanting and things like that. And so that's when I knew that, like, maybe I can do this. You know.
I guess way back in middle school, I mean, we got the crowd pumping with just beating on countertops, desk tables. It didn't matter. I mean, that's how we started, over the phone, coming up with a chorus or a hook, and then with me, maybe a couple minutes, I'm jumping into a beat on the countertop. Hopefully LG catch it and we go from there.
So it probably came when I started taking a serious approach, more so around the college area. You know, that's when we started getting together, you know, me and my boy Just, we would get together and work on the demos, the mixtapes, and start just slinging those out the trunk and everything like that. And I started working on, you know, me as an artist, Mr. LG then, you know, so it went from the exercise to learn how to produce and do things musically to crafting who I was.
Mr. LG straight to business. When it's time to do music, we do music. It's no partying, no drinking, none of that. We do music because he said time is money, so that's how we treat it. And so he would call me up, say he had a new beat, want me to listen to it, I listened to it, think if it was hot or not, and of course it was always fire. So then he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna start writing to it, or he already had something that he wanted, that he had written years before, or maybe the week before, that he was gonna put down to it. And so I was always anxious to hear it.
Great David Banner said, the only reason why you started making beats is because you didn't have money to afford what cats was trying to charge. That was my real reason for like making beats, and especially when I found out that that's one of the core things a producer did, was make beats. You know, I bought a Zoom drum machine and started making like the first, that's what the first mixtape came off was, just a little $200 drum machine that I bought. But you know, it's not the quality of the equipment, it's the quality of the musician. You know, and we were able to make things happen off of that, you know, and so I want to say around 17, 18, I started producing.
When we first started talking about it, it was just making some few mixtapes, CD here, CD there, you know, trying to scratch the surface. Like now he's doing his own, like, empire type things. You know, he's out finding his own people, he's working with other people, helping them get on their feet. You know, he knows probably more about music than anybody else I know. Definitely has his mind in the game to do what he needs to do to succeed in business.
Definition of an MC, it's one of those things, regardless of what, you know, critics or who, you know, fans, it's my baby, you know, because it's that first thing. You know, I remember telling people, like, I was like, you know, 06, 07, I'm gonna come out with my first album, you know. Not saying I was striving to be on no major label or anything, but, you know, for me to be able to put that together with the production, the quality level of the lyrical content, even to the packaging, to the artwork, things I was able to make happen on my own as an independent artist and producer and businessman, like, it's just something I'm always holding near and dear to my heart. I feel like Definition of an MC is going to be one of those albums that 10, 15 years down the line, standing to grasp it then. You know, when they look at my pattern of what I've done throughout the years, they're gonna be able to go back and reflect on the definition of an MC, and it's like, ah, I got it. There it is. That's what he meant in track 10. I break it down in a lot of different ways. As the artist, it's every time I write, every time I'm putting together a complete body of work, it's always based on, you know, me, like LeVar Glad and Mista LG, the human being. So, like, take definition of an MC. That was probably, you know, the way it started off with The World Ain't Ready, and it ended with track 10, definition of an MC. It was pretty much like my life from when I first started into music up until now. Like, you know, finding my way, you know, in the game, you know, learning the ropes of hip hop, you know, and being able to maintain that integrity. You know, from an artist standpoint, I would say Secret Identity covers, you know, what definition of an MC left off up until now. You know, from the quality of the content, the more, you know, the content that subjects that I'm talking about. You know, you can definitely hear the growth and the maturity from a lyrical standpoint. Even the wordplay, the way, you know, my delivery. You know, you can hear a lot, you know, better quality and more maturity in it. From a musical standpoint, from a production standpoint, you can definitely touch more musical. I'm experiencing more with the samples. You know, since definition of an MC, I've been able to upgrade that equipment, you know what I'm saying? So getting better quality musicianship out of it, incorporated some other musicians in it, you know, so it's really, you can definitely experience the growth when you hear Secret Identity compared to definition of an MC, and it's very eclectic. It's something on there for everybody.
He really puts what's from his heart, but he also knows what music is good. He doesn't sell himself out. And that's the kind of the businessman he is. He puts it out front, he doesn't try to oversell, he's not, here's my facade. You get the Mista LG, LeVar, really the way he is. And I think his music, the business and the person all comes out the same way. And I truly am honored to say he's not only a business partner of mine, but he's also a very good friend.
Secret Identity comes like, it plays off that theme, like I'm the superhero that's coming in to save hip hop, to resurrect it, to inject it with some new life and originality that it once used to have and it is lacking now. It also is a spin on it because, you know, even to this day, a lot of people look at me and be like, man, I didn't know that was you when I hear that record. So it's kind of like I walk around every day, but when I get behind the mic, I have that alter ego. It's bridging the gap between me and the relationship as an artist. At the end of the record, you should understand the full picture of me as an artist, a producer, and as a man.